Have you ever felt the quiet pull to vanish, to slip out of the life everyone thinks you should live and step into something completely your own? It starts as a whisper in the back of your mind, a thought you try to ignore. Maybe it comes when you wake up before dawn and stare at the ceiling, wondering how you ended up in a life that feels too small. Maybe it hits you when you look in the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back. That ache you feel isn't weakness. It's not failure. It's a signal. It's your own soul telling you there is more. The world tries to convince you that you must stay where you are, that your story is already written, that your name, your job, your habits, your mistakes are permanent. But deep down, you know that isn't true. You know you are not the roles you've been assigned. You are not the sum of other people's expectations. You are not your past. You are possibility itself. The urge to disappear is not about running away. It's about remembering who you really are before the world told you what to be. Think about the moments when you felt most alive, when time seemed to stop and you felt weightless. Those moments are clues. They show you that your real self is waiting. Disappearing isn't about leaving everything behind and hiding in the shadows. It's about shedding the layers that no longer belong to you. It's about stepping out of the noise and into a silence where you can finally hear your own heartbeat again. Right now, you might feel trapped. Maybe by a job that drains you, a relationship that keeps you small, a city that no longer feels like home. Maybe you are carrying mistakes so heavy you can barely breathe. But here is the truth that changes everything. You are allowed to start over completely. No permission slip, no apology. You are allowed to rewrite the story of your life as many times as you need. Your brain, your habits, your identity are not fixed. Science proves it. Your mind is plastic, capable of rewiring, capable of becoming new. Imagine this. One morning you wake up and instead of dread, you feel a quiet excitement. Your surroundings may be simple. Your plan is still forming, but your spirit is light. The person in the mirror is no longer a stranger. That is what disappearing to transform can give you. It gives you the chance to walk away from the weight of old expectations and walk toward the life you choose. Stay with me, because this journey is not about erasing yourself. It's about discovering yourself. Over the next steps, you will learn how to let go of the noise, how to break free from identities that never fit, and how to build a life that feels like breathing clean air for the first time. If you've ever wished you could begin again, this is your invitation. This is your proof that you can. The path forward is waiting, and it begins the moment you decide you're ready to disappear and transform. You don't have to burn your life to the ground to begin again. Transformation is not destruction, it is clarity. The world loves to sell the myth that leaving behind what no longer fits means you have to lose everything you love. But the truth is simpler and far more powerful. You are not disappearing to escape. You are peeling away the layers that hide you. What you release is not your essence. What you release is the noise. Your mind has been shaped by years of habits, opinions, and routines that once served a purpose but may no longer belong to you. Neuroscience shows that every thought you repeat strengthens a pathway in the brain, but it also shows those pathways can fade when you stop feeding them. Old patterns are not changed, they are circuits, and circuits can be rewired. The beliefs that once defined you are not walls, they are stories, and stories can be rewritten. This is the moment to question what you've been taught about who you are. Ask yourself which parts of your life you chose and which were chosen for you. The job that looks safe but keeps you numb. The circle of friends who laugh at dreams too big for their own fear. The labels that were given to you before you even had a chance to speak. None of these are permanent. They are ideas wearing the mask of reality. And when you see them for what they are, the mask begins to crack. You may feel resistance rising, the quiet voice that says change is too hard, too late, too dangerous. That voice is not your enemy. It is the echo of an old self trying to protect you from the unknown. But the unknown is where growth lives. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move anyway. Every great transformation begins with that decision. Not with a map, not with a guarantee, but with a single act of faith. I will no longer let yesterday define me. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest at night. Behind you is the familiar landscape of what you know. Ahead is a path you cannot see. The mind clings to the lit city you are leaving, but your heart beats for the darkness that promises dawn. Each step forward is an act of trust in yourself. Each step forward is proof that you are more than the life you outgrew. You are not erasing your history. You are reclaiming your power over it. You are allowed to keep the lessons while leaving the pain. You are allowed to love the people who shaped you and still walk away from their expectations. You are allowed to become someone entirely new while honoring every version of who you have been. This is not running away. This is remembering your freedom. As you breathe into this truth, feel the weight you've been carrying start to loosen. Feel the space around you widen. Transformation does not ask you to abandon your life. It asks you to see it clearly and choose what remains. The past is not a prison unless you decide to stay inside it. The door has always been open. Step through. Fear will try to bargain with you. It will whisper that staying where you are is safer, that comfort is enough, that the risk of becoming someone new is too heavy to bear. But safety without growth is only a slow kind of drowning. Deep inside, you already know that the life you long for demands courage, and courage is built in the very moment you feel afraid and move anyway. The pulse of change begins with a choice so small it almost feels invisible. The choice to walk even when the path is uncertain. Every cell in your body is designed to adapt. Your heart has weathered storms you once thought would break you. Your mind has solved problems you once believed impossible. You carry the proof of resilience inside your own skin. Science calls it post-traumatic growth, the way humans rise higher after hardship, stronger than before. This is not an idea, it is biology. When you dare to leave the familiar, your brain lights up with new connections, new strength, new possibility. Change is not a threat to who you are. Change is how you discover who you can become. Think of the moments that once felt unbearable. You survived them, you learned from them, you built muscles of endurance you could not see at the time. That same strength will carry you through this transformation. Courage is not a sudden flood of confidence. It is the steady decision to take the next breath, the next step, the next action, even while your hands shake. Each small movement is a declaration: I will not remain trapped in a life that does not belong to me. People around you may not understand. They may cling to the version of you that fits their comfort. They may question your choices, mock your dreams, remind you of your failures. Remember, their fear is not your burden. Their doubt is not your truth. You do not need their approval to begin again. Autonomy is your birthright. The power to redefine your existence lives entirely within you. When you stop seeking permission, you start reclaiming your freedom. Close your eyes and picture the life that calls to you. See it not as a distant fantasy, but as something already alive inside you, waiting to be claimed. That vision is your compass. It will not give you every detail, but it will give you direction. Trust it more than the noise around you. Trust it more than the memories that try to hold you still. It is the voice of your future self urging you forward. Every act of courage rewrites your identity. Each step into the unknown, you prove to yourself that you are more powerful than the patterns of yesterday. You begin to build a new narrative, one where you are not the victim of circumstance, but the author of transformation. Let that knowledge ignite you. Let it burn away hesitation until only resolve remains. You are not here to live a life half awake. You are here to feel the full force of your own becoming. Stand in the presence of that truth. Let it fill your lungs. Let it steady your heart. The next move belongs to you, and with it comes the freedom you have always deserved. The mind cannot rise while it is crowded with noise. Transformation begins with clearing the space inside you, a deliberate act of release that invites stillness to take root. The world will try to fill every corner of your attention with distraction, endless screens, endless opinions, endless urgency. But the life you are building requires room to breathe. It requires silence deep enough for you to hear the quiet truth of who you are becoming. Start by noticing the thoughts that replay like a broken record. Old arguments, regrets, fears of what others might say. They drift through your head as if they own the place. Yet they are only habits of the mind, stories repeated so often they feel real. When you sit in stillness, you begin to see them for what they are, patterns, not destiny. You do not have to fight them. You only have to watch them long enough to recognize their weight and then let them drift away like smoke. Each release creates a small clearing, and within that clearing, you rediscover your own voice. This is where clarity lives. Studies show that when the brain is not bombarded by constant input, the default network awakens, connecting ideas, weaving insight, building meaning. It is in this space that creativity blooms, that hidden solutions rise to the surface. The silence you once avoided becomes the very ground where transformation grows. You are not withdrawn from life. You are stepping into a deeper conversation with it. Journaling can be a doorway. Write without judgment, letting every fear, every dream, every question spill onto the page. No filter, no performance, just raw honesty. The act of writing organizes chaos, turning thoughts into something you can see and release. Breathwork can be another key. Each slow inhale tells your nervous system that you are safe. Each exhale carries away tension you no longer need. With every breath, you reclaim the present moment, the only place where change can truly begin. As you create this inner space, you will feel an unexpected strength rising. The noise of the world loses its grip. The opinions of others fade into the distance. You realize that the chaos outside cannot touch the calm you are building inside. This is not weakness. This is mastery. It is the foundation for everything that follows. Without this inner clearing, any external change is just a reshuffling of the same old patterns. With it, you are no longer a prisoner of thought. You are the architect of your own mind. Notice how your body responds when you allow stillness. Shoulders loosen. Breath deepens. The constant rush slows. You begin to sense a quiet power beneath the surface, a presence that has always been there waiting. That presence is you, unmasked and unbound. From here, choices become clearer. The path ahead, once clouded, starts to reveal itself step by step. You no longer chase answers. They rise naturally, like dawn breaking over a dark horizon. This is the soil of transformation. From here, you can build a life that reflects your true essence, not the echoes of a past you have outgrown. Protect this space. Return to it often. Let it remind you that the world inside you is far greater than the noise outside. In the stillness, you are already becoming the person you were meant to be. The voices of others have no claim over your life. Every expectation, every judgment, every rule imposed on you is optional. They may feel heavy because you carried them for years, but you are learning that the weight was never yours to bear. The first act of true freedom is to see the difference between what you owe to the world and what you owe to yourself. Autonomy is not arrogance. It is the foundation of courage, the soil in which transformation takes root. You have been living under invisible contracts, agreements written by society, family, and peers, agreements that told you who to be, how to behave, what to want. These agreements shaped your identity without your consent, but consent is yours to give or withdraw. The moment you stop performing for others and start performing for yourself, everything shifts. The chains that once felt permanent dissolve quietly, leaving you lighter, stronger, and more present. You begin to understand that the only validation that matters is the one you give yourself. Psychology teaches that autonomy fuels motivation more than reward or punishment ever can. When you act from internal drive rather than external pressure, your actions gain clarity and power. Each decision made for yourself strengthens the neural pathways that support independence, resilience, and self-trust. The freedom to choose is itself transformative, reshaping the way your brain interprets obstacles, stress, and opportunity. Your courage grows not from heroism, but from the simple act of deciding that your life is yours to direct. Notice how the urge to please diminishes when you claim this space. Every yes that was once automatic now becomes conscious. Every no gains weight and meaning. Boundaries are not walls, they are declarations. They tell the world who you are and who you are not, and they protect the life you are building. The energy once scattered on maintaining appearances is now available for creation, for growth, for discovery. You are no longer diffusing your power across expectations that were never meant to hold you. The liberation you feel is not theoretical. It is visceral. Your body straightens. Your gaze sharpens. The tension in your chest eases. You are reclaiming the rhythm of your own life, the pace and direction that resonate with your soul. Autonomy is not a distant ideal. It is a practice in every choice, in every boundary, in every decision to honor yourself first. This is how you learn to walk through the world with quiet confidence, guided by the truth of your own voice rather than the echoes of others. As you embrace this freedom, clarity emerges naturally. The paths you were too afraid to take before now appear in full focus. Decisions that once paralyzed you become opportunities for action. Your life is no longer a reaction to circumstance. It becomes a reflection of intention. Each choice is a brushstroke on the canvas of your own design. Each boundary, a frame for the masterpiece you are creating. In claiming yourself, you claim the power to transform every corner of your existence. Let this understanding sink in. No one can define your worth but you. No external force can shape your identity unless you allow it. The world may try to pull you back, but your inner compass has grown sharper. You are learning to navigate by your own stars. Autonomy is not a luxury. It is the path to becoming who you were always meant to be. Every step you take in this direction strengthens the foundation of the new life you are building, and every step reminds you that you are finally, unapologetically free. Your body and mind are the instruments of your transformation, and they require action as much as insight. Thought alone cannot change your life. Movement is necessary. Small, deliberate actions create momentum, and momentum is what turns intention into reality. Each step you take, no matter how small, rewires your identity. Each habit you form is a building block for the life you are designing. The transformation you seek is not a single leap. It is the accumulation of consistent, purposeful steps taken over time. Begin with simplicity. Let go of excess, the commitments and possessions that drain your energy and distract you from what matters. The psychology of decision-making shows that every choice you simplify strengthens your focus. When your environment aligns with your intentions, your mind is freer, your actions sharper, your resilience stronger. Your external world reflects your internal state. Reduce the noise around you, and the signal of your purpose becomes louder, clearer, unstoppable. Every action taken in alignment with your true self reinforces your sense of competence and control. This is not just motivation, it is biology. Neuroscientific studies show that achieving small goals releases dopamine, the chemical of satisfaction, and focus, which then fuels larger actions. Each step you take creates neural reinforcement that builds confidence and skill. Transformation is not magic. It is structured, intentional rewiring of your habits in your brain. Notice how your body responds when you act with purpose. Tension eases, energy rises, breath deepens. The strength you thought was dormant begins to feel natural. Your actions, once hesitant, start to carry the weight of conviction. Every deliberate move becomes a declaration. I am no longer passive. I am no longer waiting for life to happen to me. I am the force shaping it. Momentum is born not from waiting for clarity, but from moving toward it. Even when the path is uncertain, eliminate what no longer serves you. Cut the obligations that steal your time. Release possessions that anchor you to the old life. Free your schedule to reflect your priorities, and your mind will follow. Behavioral psychology shows that our environment shapes our identity. Change the spaces around you, and you will change the way you act, think, and feel. Disappearance begins tangibly in the deliberate culling of what keeps you small, stagnant, or tethered to a past self. Discipline does not have to be harsh. It is a promise to yourself, a daily affirmation of your commitment to growth. Each day you honor this promise, you strengthen your inner framework. Even discomfort becomes a teacher, revealing resilience you could not have imagined. Every physical and mental action taken with intention is a brick laid in the foundation of the person you are becoming. Your life is a system, and transformation requires tending to every part of it: mind, body, and environment. Each step you take compounds with the others, creating a rhythm that propels you forward. The new life is not a distant dream. It is being built in every small, purposeful act. Stand firm in this knowledge. Move with clarity. Let every action, no matter how simple, be a testament to the unstoppable force within you that is learning to shape, create, and transform itself completely. Your mind is the canvas on which your new life will be painted, and the brush you hold is the story you choose to tell yourself. Every thought shapes perception, every belief guides action, and every word you speak to yourself becomes a part of the identity you inhabit. Narrative psychology shows that the stories we tell ourselves are not fiction. They are the architecture of the mind. To transform, you must become the author of your own story, rewriting it in alignment with the person you are becoming, not the one you were told to be. Start by examining the narratives that have been running in the background of your mind. The I am not enough, the I will always fail, the I must please others to survive. These stories have shaped your choices and limited your potential, but they are not truth. They are habit. Habits of thought can be broken, replaced, and strengthened by repetition. Each time you consciously replace a limiting narrative with one that empowers you, you are forging a new pathway in your brain, one that supports courage, resilience, and freedom. The power of self-narrative is profound. When you begin to tell yourself a story of strength, possibility, and transformation, your subconscious begins to act in alignment with that story. Your actions start to reflect your vision, not your fear. Motivation becomes intrinsic, fueled by a sense of identity rather than external pressure. Your mind begins to serve you instead of sabotage you. The person you imagine becomes the person you inhabit, because your brain cannot distinguish between repeated thought and reality. Your narrative becomes your reality. Every word you choose matters. Speak with intention. Replace self-criticism with clarity. Replace doubt with focus. Replace hesitation with resolve. The way you frame your challenges, your past, and your potential changes the way your brain interprets them. Each conscious choice to affirm your capacity and value strengthens your identity. Each refusal to feed the old, limiting stories is a step toward liberation. The more consistently you rewrite your inner dialogue, the more automatic your transformation becomes. You are teaching your mind how to see you as capable, resilient, and unstoppable. Your story is not just mental, it is embodied. When your inner narrative shifts, your posture changes, your voice gains authority, and your presence becomes magnetic. The brain-body connection ensures that belief manifests in action. Confidence is not just an idea, it is a lived experience. As you inhabit your new story, the world responds accordingly. Opportunities align, energy flows. Resistance remains, but it is no longer intimidating. It becomes measurable, navigable, and conquerable. Do not underestimate the magnitude of this step. To rewrite your story is to reclaim power stolen by fear, expectation, and habit. It is to choose the lens through which you view every moment. It is to affirm that your past does not define your potential. Each day, each thought, each word can either reinforce confinement or cultivate freedom. Choose freedom relentlessly. Choose your story with intention. Let it guide your actions, your decisions, and the trajectory of your life. In the narrative you craft, you find yourself not just surviving, but transforming into the person you were always meant to be. Strength is forged in silence, in the moments when no one is watching, when the world cannot applaud or judge. True power is invisible until it emerges, unshakable and undeniable. Your resilience grows in the private moments you choose to push yourself beyond comfort, to practice discipline, and to nurture skills that will define the person you are becoming. Habits, repetition, and quiet persistence are far more potent than bursts of public effort. The hidden work shapes the foundation upon which transformation stands. Discipline is not punishment. It is an act of reverence for your own potential. When you commit to yourself in private, through exercise, study, meditation, or any consistent act that strengthens body and mind, you are telling your subconscious that your growth is non-negotiable. The brain records these actions as proof you are capable. Neural pathways solidify. Confidence begins to radiate outward. Each deliberate choice strengthens the invisible architecture of your identity, preparing you for the visible world you are building toward. This is where patience becomes your ally. The hidden phase is often silent, slow, and unseen. Your efforts may feel isolated, unrecognized, or even pointless at times. But every repetition, every intentional action compounds into a force that cannot be ignored. Scientific research on habit formation shows that incremental progress rewires the brain, not overnight, but inevitably. What you do in private determines how you move in public. Your transformation cannot be rushed, but it also cannot be stopped. Momentum builds quietly, invisibly, yet relentlessly. The strength you cultivate in solitude is multifaceted. Physical endurance teaches your body that it can bear pressure and recover. Mental discipline trains focus, resilience, and emotional control. Knowledge and skill grow through deliberate practice. Together, these elements form an inner core that cannot be shaken by circumstance, opinion, or setback. You are constructing a version of yourself that is prepared for challenge, opportunity, and even adversity. Each hidden act of dedication is a declaration. You are becoming unstoppable, even if no one else sees it yet. Solitude is not loneliness, it is communion with yourself. In this space, you refine your priorities, clarify your purpose, and reconnect with the raw essence of your being. Creativity, intuition, and insight flourish here because there is nothing to distract or dilute them. You are learning to rely on your own guidance, to trust your own judgment, and to find satisfaction in progress rather than recognition. The private work cultivates independence, self-trust, and an unshakable sense of capability. When you are ready to reemerge, the world will encounter someone grounded, disciplined, and centered. The person who quietly hones strength in the shadows becomes a force of influence and inspiration, not because of showmanship, but because the foundation beneath them is unbreakable. Confidence born in solitude does not waver in the face of resistance. Presence cultivated in private commands respect without demand. Every hidden effort ensures that your transformation is profound, lasting, and undeniable. Embrace this invisible phase with gratitude. It is not wasted time. It is the crucible in which the new you is forged. Every action taken in private strengthens the framework of identity you are constructing. Each moment of quiet dedication is a seed of unstoppable power. Your transformation is happening now, beneath the surface, and its impact will ripple outward in ways you have not yet imagined. This hidden work is your ultimate leverage. It is the strength that no one can take from you, the foundation upon which your entire rebirth rests. Solitude is a sanctuary, but it is not a cage. It is where you confront the raw truth of yourself without distraction or compromise. In this space, you learn to sit with discomfort without fleeing, to observe fear without giving it power, to feel the weight of your own mind and body and still remain present. Psychological studies confirm that the capacity to tolerate solitude strengthens emotional regulation, creativity, and self-awareness. When you embrace your own company fully, you discover a source of energy and insight that the world outside could never provide. In solitude, the noise of comparison fades. You no longer measure yourself against other people's timelines, achievements, or standards. You measure yourself against your own potential, and that standard is limitless. The constant pull to conform diminishes because you are learning to answer only to your inner compass. Every choice, every thought, every action becomes aligned with your deepest values and your truest vision. Freedom is born not from escaping the world, but from mastering the world within you. Your emotional resilience deepens here. Without the crutch of constant distraction, you confront fear, doubt, and anxiety head on. The mind adapts. Neural pathways strengthen. The parts of your brain responsible for executive function, problem solving, and emotional control grow more efficient. You begin to feel a confidence that is not conditional on external validation. You are learning to trust yourself in ways that cannot be shaken by circumstance or opinion. Each session of deliberate reflection, each intentional pause is a training ground for courage. Creativity flourishes in the absence of noise. When the mind is uncluttered, it begins to see connections, patterns, and possibilities that were previously invisible. Studies on solitary reflection show that periods of uninterrupted focus lead to higher problem-solving ability, innovative thinking, and deep insight. In these moments, the seeds of your new life are planted. Ideas emerge not as fleeting thoughts, but as actionable blueprints for growth. The quiet is not empty, it is fertile, teeming with the potential of the person you are becoming. This is where you learn to love your own presence. You discover that you are sufficient without approval, whole without validation, capable without affirmation. The self-reliance you cultivate in solitude is a shield against distraction, manipulation, and self-doubt. You begin to recognize that the energy you once spent seeking permission or recognition is better invested in the creation of your own reality. Every decision, every act of self-dedication, every disciplined choice strengthens the foundation of independence that supports your transformation. Solitude also sharpens clarity. Without the constant input of other people's expectations, the fog lifts. You begin to see your desires, your strengths, and your purpose with unprecedented precision. Goals become not abstract ambitions, but concrete intentions. Obstacles are no longer paralyzing. They are challenges to be navigated, opportunities to be leveraged. The mind, freed from distraction, becomes a precise instrument for action. Your focus intensifies, your energy multiplies, and your confidence solidifies. Embrace this inner landscape fully. It is a place of empowerment, growth, and preparation. Every moment spent alone is a rehearsal for mastery, every breath a reinforcement of resilience, every thought an act of construction. In the stillness, you are not idle. You are building the life you will soon inhabit. This is the arena in which transformation becomes inevitable. The solitude you cultivate today will become the strength you wield tomorrow, an unshakable core from which everything else flows. The world you step into after your time in solitude is not the same world you left. Your mind is sharper, your instincts clearer, and your sense of purpose undeniable. Every boundary you set, every habit you strengthen, every quiet hour spent refining your skills has prepared you for this moment. Transformation is no longer a concept. It is living in you, flowing through every thought, every action, every decision you make. You are becoming a force not easily shaken, a presence that commands respect without demand. Your surroundings will shift as a reflection of your inner evolution. Psychology shows that humans are highly influenced by their environment. Energy, people, and even the objects around us can either support or drain us. When you align your space with your intentions, you create a mirror of your inner clarity. Chaos retreats, distraction fades. What remains is purpose, focus, and a momentum that draws opportunities, connections, and growth naturally toward you. Your world bends to the shape of the person you have become. Connection with others transforms as well. You no longer seek validation in relationships, you seek resonance. Your interactions are no longer transactions for approval, but alignments with shared energy and vision. You recognize the value of presence over performance. People respond not to the persona you once projected, but to the strength, calm, and clarity that now radiates from your core. Influence emerges naturally because you are authentic, centered, and grounded in your own truth. Every challenge now feels different. Obstacles that once caused panic or hesitation are met with strategy, calm, and confidence. Your brain has been rewired through deliberate action and reflection, strengthening pathways for problem solving, emotional regulation, and resilience. Fear becomes a signal, not a stop sign. Discomfort becomes fuel. Each difficulty is an opportunity to test, refine, and prove the power you cultivated in silence. Transformation is not only internal, it manifests externally in your ability to navigate life with mastery. Your identity solidifies around authenticity, purpose, and capability. The person you were becoming in private, the person who trained, reflected, and refined is no longer hidden. This emergence is not sudden or dramatic. It is inevitable. The growth that took place in solitude is now embodied in posture, voice, habits, and actions. Others may notice, or they may not. Recognition is irrelevant. The proof lies in your presence, in your ability to act with intention, and in the peace that comes from living in alignment with yourself. Momentum builds with each step you take in this aligned life. Your vision clarifies, your energy amplifies. The small, deliberate choices you made in silence compound, creating a trajectory that propels you toward your potential. Success, influence, and fulfillment are no longer abstract concepts. They are the natural byproducts of a life built intentionally, brick by brick, in private. The hidden work now emerges as visible transformation. You are no longer the person who fears solitude, hesitation, or uncertainty. You are a person who has learned to disappear in order to reclaim themselves. You are disciplined, centered, and unshakable. You have transformed in ways both visible and invisible, and every moment from here forward becomes an expression of that power. You walk not with arrogance, but with the quiet, undeniable strength of someone who knows themselves fully, trusts their path completely, and refuses to be defined by anything outside of their own truth. Every interaction, every choice, every environment you step into now can either nourish or deplete you, and the responsibility for that falls entirely on you. Protecting your energy is no longer optional. It is essential. Psychology proves that emotional contagion is real. The moods, expectations, and anxieties of others can infiltrate your mind and body if you allow them. Boundaries are not selfish. They are a necessary act of preservation for the life you are building. Every no you speak with clarity, every limit you enforce with calm conviction, reinforces your autonomy and strengthens your transformation. Energy management is not just about shielding yourself from negativity. It is about directing your vitality toward what matters. Each moment spent in alignment with your purpose multiplies your influence and accelerates your growth. Each engagement that drains you is a lesson in discernment. The stronger you become internally, the sharper your intuition about what deserves your focus, your effort, and your presence. The invisible forces that once dictated your actions now bow to the authority of your intention. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You are the steward of your own life force. Every boundary you enforce is a declaration of your worth. You are saying without apology that your time, attention, and energy are valuable. The psychological impact of boundaries is profound. They teach others how to treat you and, more importantly, teach your brain to operate from self-respect rather than obligation. You will notice a shift in the quality of your interactions. the clarity of your priorities, and the depth of your focus. You are cultivating a life where influence, connection, and action are earned through alignment, not extracted through compromise. This protection of energy extends to your internal dialogue as well. Negative self-talk, regret, and doubt can be just as draining as external pressures. Each time you intercept the harmful thought and replace it with clarity, compassion, and resolve, you are fortifying your inner world. Cognitive science shows that repeated mental patterns physically alter neural pathways, strengthening the circuits that support resilience, self-trust, and purpose. By managing both external and internal energy, you create a field of influence that radiates stability, focus, and power. Freedom and strength are inseparable from discipline. Protecting your energy is not a passive act. It is deliberate, conscious, and unyielding. You learn to identify triggers, anticipate challenges, and respond rather than react. Your actions are intentional because your energy is sacred. The life you are building demands this vigilance, not as a burden, but as a pathway to mastery. Every hour spent guarding your focus is an investment in the life you are emerging into, a life defined by clarity, intention, and unshakable strength. As you cultivate this practice, notice the subtle shifts in your perception. Obstacles lose their intimidation. Relationships become mutually nourishing rather than draining. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach align naturally with your path. This is the power of intentional energy management. It is the force multiplier for transformation. Your mind, body, and presence become instruments of impact, tuned and ready to perform at the highest level. You are no longer scattered, you are centered, directed, and unstoppable. The work you do to protect your energy is the bridge between the person you were and the person you are becoming. Every boundary, every intentional choice, every act of self-respect builds the foundation for a life of profound freedom, power, and clarity. You are learning to move through the world not as a reaction to circumstance, but as a master of your own focus, strength, and destiny. In protecting what is yours, you unlock everything that is possible. The moment of emergence is not a performance. It is the natural consequence of the work you have done in silence, the inevitable result of discipline, reflection, and courage. You have disappeared into yourself to grow, to refine, to strengthen, and now the world meets a version of you that is unshakable, clear, and fully aligned. Transformation is not about spectacle. It is about authenticity. What you reveal is not a mask or a facade. It is the distilled essence of power, clarity, and self-mastery that you have cultivated quietly, deliberately, and relentlessly. Confidence born in solitude is not fragile. It does not rely on applause, recognition, or external validation. It is rooted in the certainty that you know yourself, trust your process, and act in alignment with your purpose. Its inner authority radiates outward, shaping the way others respond to you without force or effort. You no longer bend to meet expectations that do not belong to you. Your presence commands attention because it is authentic, grounded, and deliberate. The world cannot shake what has been forged in quiet discipline and deliberate self-reclamation. Your actions now carry weight because they are consistent with your true self. Psychology shows that integrity between belief and action strengthens self-efficacy, resilience, and influence. Each choice you make, each step you take, reinforces your identity as someone who acts with intention rather than reaction. You are no longer scattered by doubt, indecision, or external pressures. Every movement reflects the power cultivated in private. Every decision embodies the clarity honed through discipline. Your transformation is no longer potential. It is reality expressed in every action and interaction. The emergence into the world is also a test of resilience. Challenges will come, people will doubt, and circumstances will resist. But the strength you have built internally allows you to face them without fear or hesitation. Fear becomes a guide rather than a barrier. Resistance becomes a signal of growth rather than a reason to retreat. Every obstacle is an opportunity to demonstrate the power and focus you developed in solitude. You move through life with an unshakable foundation, capable of navigating any challenge with clarity and purpose. Your influence expands naturally from this foundation. People respond to authenticity, energy, and confidence more than words, advice, or performance. By mastering yourself in private, you have cultivated a presence that commands attention and respect. You inspire not because you demand it, but because your alignment and strength are undeniable. Transformation radiates. The world recognizes it because it cannot ignore it. Your power is quiet yet formidable, visible not in spectacle, but in the certainty of your being and the clarity of your actions. This is the culmination of your hidden work. The moment where preparation meets opportunity. The person who disappeared to transform is no longer hidden. They are present, capable, and alive in a way that was previously impossible. Every choice, every act, every moment of discipline and reflection has led to this emergence. You are proof that deliberate transformation works, that courage and solitude manifest as strength in life, and that the person who commits to themselves fully can step into the world with authority, freedom, and undeniable impact. Embrace this emergence fully. Stand in your own power. Let every interaction, every decision, and every action be an expression of the person you have become. The transformation is complete not because it is finished, but because it has become part of your being. You are no longer defined by the past, nor by the expectations of others. You are defined by your own truth, your own strength, and the unshakable clarity of the life you have built. And that presence now shapes everything around you. Every step forward now carries the weight of purpose. Transformation is not a single act, but a living, breathing practice. And the momentum you have built propels you into a life shaped by intention rather than chance. Each choice is deliberate. Each decision aligned with the person you have become. You no longer drift through circumstances or allow events to dictate your path. You move with direction, authority, and clarity because the foundation you built in silence is unshakable and it carries you forward with unstoppable force. The journey of becoming is ongoing. The transformation you have achieved is profound, but it is not static. Life continues to test, challenge, and present new opportunities. Your resilience, clarity, and self-trust are the tools you carry into every situation. Challenges are no longer threats. They are mirrors reflecting your capacity to adapt, grow, and expand. Each obstacle is a proving ground for the strength cultivated in solitude, and each triumph is a reinforcement of your power and purpose. You are no longer reactive. You are intentional in every moment. Your internal world drives the quality of your external reality. Cognitive science demonstrates that beliefs shape behavior, and behavior shapes outcomes. The person you have become within now determines the energy you project outward. You influence, inspire, and lead not by words alone, but by the alignment between your thoughts, your actions, and your presence. Others sense the clarity, strength, and authenticity that radiate from you, and it alters the way the world responds. Your transformation is both internal and external, inseparable and undeniable. Purpose now guides every action. You act with precision, intention, and commitment. Distractions fall away naturally because your mind, body, and energy are tuned to the frequency of what matters most. Neuroscience confirms that focus strengthens neural connections, making each moment of aligned action easier, more natural, and more impactful. Momentum compounds. The discipline, reflection, and courage you cultivated quietly in solitude now amplify your ability to act with power, precision, and influence. Every step becomes a testament to the person you have built yourself to be. The life you are creating is a reflection of your inner evolution. Opportunities align with your vision, challenges are met with composure, and relationships resonate with authenticity. The invisible work you have done, the boundaries, the discipline, the self-reflection, the hidden strength, emerges as tangible results in every aspect of your world. Transformation is no longer a process. It is a lived experience expressed in how you move, speak, and inhabit your life. You have stepped fully into your own authority. This ongoing journey is a commitment to yourself, to the vision of the person you are becoming, and to the life you are building. Every moment offers a choice to act from your authentic self or from habit, fear, or expectation. Each choice strengthens the neural pathways that reinforce courage, resilience, and purpose. Transformation is not a destination. It is the continuous alignment of mind, body, and action with the life you are determined to live. Stand fully in this truth. Your life is no longer shaped by the past, by fear, or by the expectations of others. It is shaped by your clarity, your courage, and your relentless commitment to growth. Every action, every choice, every breath is an affirmation of the transformation you have achieved and the life you are destined to create. You are living proof that the decision to disappear, reflect, and rebuild is not escape. It is the ultimate act of creation, power, and freedom. The power you now hold is born from deliberate detachment from what no longer serves you. You have let go of distractions, of people, of routines, of beliefs that weighed you down, and in that space, your clarity has deepened. Neuroscience tells us that pruning the unnecessary, whether habits, thoughts, or inputs, strengthens the neural circuits that support focus, resilience, and self-mastery. You are no longer diffused across 1,000 directions. Your energy, intention, and vision converge into a single, unstoppable force. Your choices carry consequence because they are rooted in self-knowledge. Every action, every decision, every moment is aligned with the person you have become. The brain craves consistency between belief and behavior, and each intentional act reinforces the neural pathways that define your identity. Your internal state dictates your external reality. This is not theory, it is science, observation, and lived truth. The person who emerges from deliberate transformation cannot act by accident. They move by intention, and the world responds accordingly. Resistance will always appear, but it no longer has the power to derail you. Fear is simply data, a signal that growth is occurring. Doubt is a shadow that exposes where your focus is needed. Discomfort is the pressure that forges strength. You have trained yourself to meet these experiences with awareness and resolve rather than avoidance. Every challenge encountered is now a proving ground, an opportunity to demonstrate the depth of the resilience cultivated in silence. You act not from reaction, but from mastery. Your environment now serves your evolution rather than depleting it. The spaces you occupy, the people you interact with, the inputs you allow into your mind, each is carefully chosen to reinforce growth, clarity, and purpose. Studies in behavioral psychology confirm that our surroundings shape our habits, energy, and mindset more than willpower alone. By curating the external world to match your internal evolution, you amplify your capacity for influence, focus, and transformation. The alignment between internal and external creates a life that flows with purpose rather than friction. The discipline cultivated in solitude now manifests as authority, calm, and presence. Others may notice, but recognition is irrelevant. Influence is not forced. It radiates naturally from a person who acts in complete alignment with their values, vision, and purpose. Your energy, focus, and self-mastery create magnetic pull, attracting opportunities, people, and circumstances that resonate with your trajectory. Transformation is no longer hidden. It is visible in every deliberate choice, every measured action, every step taken with clarity and confidence. Your journey has taught you that freedom is not granted. It is claimed. Transformation is not given. It is forged through intentionality, discipline, and courage. The person you were is no longer who dictates your life. The person you have built in silence through repeated acts of reflection, action, and boundary setting now drives your existence. You embody the principle that growth requires both retreat and emergence, solitude and focus, courage and discipline. You have claimed yourself fully. Stand in this presence. Let it shape every decision, every interaction, and every goal. Your life now moves in alignment with your purpose because you have aligned your mind, body, and energy with it first. Transformation is no longer a concept. It is a lived reality, expressed in your presence, your choices, and the unstoppable momentum you carry forward. The life you are creating is not defined by the world, but by the power, clarity, and intention that you have cultivated and now command.